Hi guys, welcome back to Style with Substance and welcome to Law of Attraction Week. I asked, you guys responded, so I'm delivering. My focus is going to be manifesting things that you are desiring in your life and also sharing with you guys some of my experiences and some of the tools and techniques that I've used. So in today's video, as you'll have guessed by the title, I'm going to be talking all about how I manifested owning my own company, being self-employed, and essentially turning that all around within a matter of 7 months. So if you like the sound of that, then definitely keep watching. So if you guys are new to my channel, then welcome. My name is Nadreen. If you guys are not new, then you will know that probably about a couple of months ago, I started hinting towards a new career path or a big career change that I'd made. And I didn't give a lot of details, and you guys had some thoughts as to what it might be, but I kind of wanted to wait until pretty much everything was in place before I made this video, because I think even from my own perspective, I was still trying to figure it all out in my head and how it was all going to work out. But now that it has, I want to share with you exactly how I have made all of those things that I mentioned in the intro and in the title come to pass using the law of attraction. Now, if you're new to the law of attraction, to sum it up for you guys in a nutshell, it is all about thoughts becoming things and essentially reprogramming the way that you think about the things that you desire in life in a way to attract them towards you. Now, I think there's a common misconception, from my perspective anyway, as to how people look at the law of attraction. There's a school of thought that kind of believes that the law of attraction is just strictly you think positively and you get good things. I guess in its most basic form, yes, you could say that, but the way I viewed the law of attraction and I guess manifesting great things into my life in general is, yes, you have to think positively, but you have to put the work in. But putting the work in becomes a lot easier when your mind frame is programmed in a positive way. So that's my thoughts on the law of attraction. What I'm going to do is link 2 books in the description box below. One is my ebook on the law of attraction, which you can purchase on Amazon in paperback or ebook format. And I'm also going to link my favourite book on the law of attraction outside of mine, which is The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, and that will explain everything you need to know. What I'll also do is just put a quick definition there of what the law of attraction is, because I think that might be helpful just to set the scene. This is going to be quite a long video, so do bear with me because I'm kind of taking it way back for you guys, but hopefully it gives you just a bit more of an insight and an understanding into how I've done what I've done. As you guys know, I'm in the marketing industry. That's kind of what I do. I also obviously do YouTube on the side, but I think when I started my career, I always had a very clear vision in mind as to what I wanted the end goal to be. And I didn't necessarily know how I would make that come to pass, and this, I'm talking like possibly 10 years ago, but I just always knew that the end goal would be self-employment. And whether that was self-employment in the marketing industry or in another industry, I didn't know, but it would kind of be revolving around that. So I had a vague idea in my mind of what I wanted to do. In fact, I think in my earlier days in my marketing career, I actually really wanted to end up becoming a marketing consultant, as it were. So I didn't know how that was going to be possible, so I basically just said, look, let me just see how my career goes, try and secure lots of great jobs and amazing opportunities and see what happens, basically. And so I did that. I worked really hard, I got lots of experience, and I was able to land some really, really great jobs as a result of that. And I think when you're working for a long period of time, you tend to get caught up in the comfort blanket of full-time employment, which is a model that absolutely works for how we are. You kind of feel like you want to go to work, you want to get your salary, have that guaranteed, you want to get your benefits, and then you want to leave work and not have to really think about it at the end of the day. And that was kind of the path I was following for a while. But what I quickly came to realise in my marketing career was that once I had done a job for 6 to 12 months, I kind of got the hang of it, if you know what I mean. I kind of had learnt essentially all the basics that I needed to kind of make that role doable on a day-to-day basis, and everything started to become really samey. So I realised very early on in my career that I needed change very frequently, more frequently than other people would. which was a bit annoying because I was always in obviously full-time employment, and change is kind of hard unless you're like basically looking to leave the company. I had the opportunity of working for some great companies. I didn't necessarily want to leave, I just wanted to do something a little bit different, and if that meant earning more money, great. So what I would do is kind of move around within an organisation that way to kind of gain some more exposure, gain lots of different experience, and just do something different, or do work on a different project or a different client, etc. So that worked for me for a bit, but it would always get to the point where I've kind of done 2 roles within an organisation and I'm kind of ready to move on, if you know what I mean. So I did that for a good long while, and that I guess kind of brings me to end of 2016, January 2017. So towards the end of 2016 I started to see some really big growth in my YouTube channel, and I think I was coming to a point in my career, definitely in 2016, where I was kind of like, I think everyone gets to a point in anything that they've done for so long, and I've been in the marketing industry since 2008, and I think if you do anything for that long, you do get to a point where you're like, I actually need a break. I'm kind of sick of this. So I definitely got to that point in 2016, and at that point, I was really enjoying doing YouTube and things were really picking up in that way, and I was like, gosh, it would be amazing if I could do this full time. But obviously I had a mortgage to pay, expenses to cover. Couldn't just make irresponsible decisions like that, basically. So I decided against that. So I didn't decide against it. So basically I just said to myself, you're going to have to find a way to make this work, essentially. And I knew that I wouldn't want to ever leave the marketing industry per se, and I knew that YouTube was a way to kind of stay in the marketing industry, because a lot of what people do on YouTube is marketing, but just themselves. I knew that I wanted to stay in the field because I'd studied it, I had such great experience, and it would be such a waste if I completely gave it up. So I was like, okay, what is the happy medium? So as you guys know, I secured my dream job at the start of 2016 and absolutely enjoying it and doing all the things that I've always been accustomed to doing. But as happens after a certain period of time, it just becomes the case that you're going to be doing the same thing each year. Okay, things might change, budgets might change, audiences occasionally might change, but essentially what you're doing on a day-to-day basis is pretty much the same year in, year out. And I was like, I can't do another cycle of this and it be enjoyable. So I think at the beginning of 2017, I said to myself that I have to change something. I didn't know what I was going to change. I didn't know how I was going to change it, but I just knew that I needed a break and that I needed to switch something around in my career to stop me from basically hitting that plateau where I was just completely sick of it. So I think it was at the start of 2017, at the start of this year, where I really got into affirmations. And to be honest, at the beginning of every year, I do a goal setting exercise. So I set myself some new goals for the year. And it just so happened that some of my goals were related to YouTube, some of them were related to my income, and my employment status, and lots of different things. I was like, okay, I want to make these goals come to pass, and I know I'm going to work really hard at them, but there needs to be more, because hard work doesn't always necessarily guarantee success, as we know. Sometimes it's all about smart work. So I was like, I need to leverage the law of attraction at this point to really supercharge these things that I've written down as my goals for this year and make them happen. Yes, I work hard, and yes, I can kind of do it through that route, but something else has to give if I'm going to make these things happen in the time that I want to make them happen. Yeah, so I started using affirmations, and I've kind of mentioned affirmations a little bit in previous videos, but I think they really started working for me this year because I really started to take them seriously. So I had kind of 6 affirmations that I did every morning, which all aligned to I guess about the 6 goals that I had for the year, and started doing those and started reading a lot more. So one of my goals was to read a book every week, and I started to do my affirmations. And my affirmations basically, as I said, reflected the things that I wanted to come to pass. So how I recited my affirmations was from the perspective that this is something that I've already had come to pass. So let's say, for example, I was trying to manifest a new handbag. I would say I'm so grateful for my new XX handbag, whatever it was, as an example. Or I'm so grateful for my fit and healthy physique. So I would do those every morning. And then very recently, as I mentioned in Sunday's video, I started journaling a lot more, but that was kind of a little bit later down the line. I then decided to kind of re-listen to my audiobooks on like The Secret, The Power, The Magic, all those kind of law of attraction focused books, and really just start to cement it in my mind, because I needed to basically get into the most positive and belief filled and hopeful mind frame to kind of switch things around. So what I did essentially, and I hear like a lot of personal development people talk about this, is I turned my car into a personal development kind of training boot camp. So every morning I would put on whether it was The Secret audiobook or Hero audiobook, and I would just play that in the car. Back then my journey driving to work was probably about 25 minutes each way. So that is 50 minutes a day of study just by listening to an audio tape. So I did that. I was doing my affirmations. Very recently I started journaling, but the next big thing I did was just start taking action, because there's nothing as much as you can think yourself into a state of mind, sometimes you got to shock yourself into a state of mind as well. I basically said I want to work for myself. So that was the big declaration that I made subconsciously, kind of consciously in my mind towards the beginning of the year. And I said, however I do that, I'm going to be working for myself by the end of this year. So a few things had to happen for that to come to pass. Yes, I had to be in the right frame of mind to make it happen. But two, I had to actually let go of the crutch of being employed, and let go of all the benefits, and let go of the feeling of security, let go of the regular paycheck. And as a result, let go of the really nice car. When I made that decision, I knew that, because as you guys know, if you watch my Law of Attraction video on the Range Rover Evoque, you know that I got it through my company car scheme. Yes, I was still paying for it monthly, but at a very great reduced rate. But obviously that was a benefit and a perk of working with the company. So when I decided to leave, that was one of the big devastating things that I would have to give up. But I said to myself, it's all for the greater good. It's all well and good having, you know, a nice flashy car, working in a lovely office, earning what you think is great money, and doing, you know, a job. But sometimes if you feel like you could be doing so much more and you start to lose passion, then something's got to change in your life. Because if you carry on down a path of just minimal satisfaction with life, that's exactly what you get back from it. So yeah, I said to myself, I need to quit my job, basically. So I handed in my notice. It just so happened at the time that we were also considering a move further up north, which, you know, we kind of still toying with the idea, but a few things also have to fall into place for that to happen, and whether or not it will happen anytime soon, I don't know. But it just seemed like the right time to do this, so I was like, okay, I'm going to quit my job. So handed in my notice, and I was on a 3-month notice, which is quite a long one actually. But in that 3 months time, I can tell you I was super motivated to figure out what I was going to be doing to make money and sustain myself. Because bear in mind, yeah, it's all well and good saying I'm going to quit my job and having a little bit of savings, but what happens if big expense comes about and you need to shell out a bunch of money to basically pay for something? And I was like, oh, okay, alright then. So there's no bigger motivation than knowing that you don't have a steady income to like make things happen. So I started doing research about other ways that I could make money online. I started really thinking about how I was monetizing my channel, my blog. I think it was during this time that I was really like pushing my ebook forward. That motivated me to kind of get it done. I'd kind of always had the idea that I'd do it, but during that time period, I was like really focused on like having these different streams of income. So really worked on that. Lots of other things that I thought about, but there were a few things that I knew could be some quick wins in that time. And in that 3-month time frame, I discovered basically 3 additional sources of income that I would have never discovered if I hadn't given up my job and hadn't basically been pushed to a point of desperation. And I would say a lot of that has to do with the fact that I was doing these affirmations. And when you're doing affirmations and you're saying these things out loud to yourself, you force yourself to think from the headspace of a person who has those things. What would a person who has these things in life, or lives this kind of life, what would they be doing, so it really pushes you. The law of attraction talks about inspired action. In those 3 months, I tell you, there was a lot of inspired action going on. So the 3-month period came to an end, and by that point in time, I had saved a little bit of money, and I said, okay, I've got my savings, but also I've got some forms of income that will basically pretty much cover my outgoing expenses as they stand, with any surplus money needed to be spent that could come from my savings. So I was like, okay, this is a good situation. So basically I got my YouTube revenue to a point where it was good, and then I got my affiliate income to a point where it was good, and I was like, okay, this is actually kind of feasible. But I always knew I never wanted to give up marketing. So in the month following me finishing my job, and now, I basically started to think about ways in which I could stay in the marketing industry but not be tied down to an employer or to a job, and could still earn a decent amount of money, like the same if not more than what I was earning, but not kind of be like locked in essentially. And then it hit me, and it came back to me pretty much like from years and years and years and years ago, that hold on a minute, when you started out this journey in your career, the end goal was always to be self-employed. It was always to be providing your services as a consultant rather than an employee. So you're working for yourself and not working for a company. And I was like, this makes complete sense. So then I was like, okay, and there's 2 ways to do it in marketing. You can either be a marketing consultant, or you can essentially just be a contractor. And it's pretty much the same thing. I think you just kind of package and market yourself in a different way, but if you're a contractor, you kind of get your roles through a recruitment agency. So I said, I've worked with recruitment agencies a lot of the time to get permanent roles. Let me see how it goes for getting contract roles. So I continued doing my affirmations. One of my goals, was that marketing consultancy was going to become one of my streams of income. So one of my affirmations obviously matched that. And I was doing that combined with reading a lot more about business and about money and finances. And then I was also applying for contract roles on top of that. Now, what I found, so this is kind of going to turn into a law of attraction / marketing video, is that there weren't loads of contract opportunities online, which worried me, because I was like, the whole goal of becoming self-employed was to make more money or to be self-reliant. And how can I be self-reliant if one of the biggest streams of my potential income is not there? So I did get a little bit worried, but you have to put worry aside because you don't have time to worry. And then I was contacted by a recruitment agency who happened to be the ones that I got my current role with. And, they said, as much as, you can find lots of contract roles online, a lot of contract roles that come through go straight to the recruitment agency, and the recruitment agency basically recommends somebody that they have. So rarely do a lot of the really good contract roles get posted online, because they get fulfilled within, days of an agent receiving the role in. So I registered with them, and at the time of registering, they had a role that had come through. They put me forward for that. That didn't come through. I remained positive, and then a couple of their other colleagues, big recruitment agency, a couple of their other colleagues contacted me about roles that either didn't fit my requirements or didn't really kind of fit, the level that, in terms of the level I'd reached role-wise. So yeah, it was like lots of different things came about, and I was applying for lots of different things outside of that. And then this role came through. So it was literally last week. And this is why I didn't want to film the video on this until everything had fallen into place, and now everything has. So The reason why I wanted to wait is because I wanted to have my full portfolio of revenue streams established, have my company set up, and then film the video. So since then, it's basically been a rush to set up my company. So I'm now incorporated. I am basically a director of my business, and essentially any income that I earn will basically be as a business now. So it's no longer me working for X company, it's me working for myself and charging out my services to that company for a set period of time. So contracts roles can range from 3 to 6 months to a year, depending on what the requirements of the organisation are. I'm now self-employed. I work for myself, and I know that I manifested this through using the law of attraction, through using journaling, which I did a lot in the last month. I would say particularly in the last 2 weeks, and I know that is a direct result of what has come about. I did a lot of praying. You guys know I'm a Christian. There's a lot of debate as to whether or not the law of attraction and Christianity works together. I'm not here to kind of fuel that debate. If you guys want to talk about that, by all means, go ahead and talk about that. But this video is purely about my story, my career story, being self-employed, how I use the law of attraction to kind of take me from depending on a salary and not being very happy in my role because I was kind of doing the same thing day in and day out, to being very flexible in terms of where I'm placed. And I hate to kind of bring it back to finances, but essentially almost tripling my income. Because when you're self-employed, because you are less of a tax burden to your employer, the rest of that amount comes back to you in earning potential and, well, profits for your business. I mean, if you guys want some more detail around, what you have to do to set up your own company, anyone can set up their own company. It's very simple to do. Because I had particular requirements for my company, I decided to take on an accountant and to basically have them incorporate me, and there's some insurance that I needed. Because of the way I'm doing it, I prefer to have an accountant. To be self-employed, you don't necessarily need an accountant. You just have to make sure that you're filing your accounts in the correct way and just showing what your business is making, or legally declaring what your business is making in the right way. You don't have to be earning money to list your company as a company. But I figured I don't want to do it until I'm actually earning money under my company, which I will be as of later this week. So I wanted to make this video just to reinforce the fact that, one, no goal is too big or too ambitious if you have the right mind frame. Two, you have to commit yourself to the belief that that thing or that goal is going to come to pass. Three, things like affirmations, journaling, and inspired action. I always come back to this point of action. You have to actually do something. Don't just expect things to fall into your lap. Yes, sometimes they will, but you won't believe the results if you actually put some work in. And I think life is like that. You have to put something in to get something out, personally. I turned around all of this within the space of 7 months. And for me, the message that sends is it's possible to completely change your circumstances within a short space of time beyond your belief. I wanted to make this video so that, one, you guys knew what the hell I was doing, because I think there were a lot of people that thought that I'd basically quit my job and was going to pursue YouTube full time. I could have done that if I wanted to, but what I've always wanted to do with my channel is create quality content and create content that is not necessarily driven by a financial motivation. And I found that if you are not earning over a certain amount through YouTube, then things can definitely head in that direction. And I think because I was lucky enough and fortunate enough to get an education, and a very good one at that, and land some great jobs as a result of that, and basically working hard and seeking out great opportunities, it would be a waste to not continue to have that part of my life. And what I've realised is, if I do the same thing or too much of the same thing for a very long time, there is a potential that I kind of lose the passion and the zest and the excitement and enthusiasm for it. And I knew that as much as in the same way that I had kind of started to lose that in my marketing career, it would have happened with YouTube as well if I'd just pursued that full time. And I think what drew a lot of people to my channel initially is because I am not a full-time YouTuber, because I am somebody who balances like a day job with YouTube, and I think a lot of people appreciate that my content is quite relatable in that way. The kind of like clothes that I buy, or the hauls that I do, or the videos that I like put out there about what I'm reading or where I'm going or what I'm doing kind of matches up with what you guys are doing, and hopefully that is what's kind of kept you watching my videos. But yeah, anyway, that aside, I just wanted to send this message out so you guys had an update on what I'm doing with my life at the moment, which is apparently being a director of my own company, which I'm amazingly grateful and thankful for, and inspire and motivate and encourage you guys to just follow your dreams, follow your passions. If you feel like you're coming to a point in your life where you, even getting up and getting out of bed to start your day or go about what it is you do on a day-to-day basis is becoming like tedious and boring, and you're losing the motivation, almost losing the will to live, then you can change things. All you have to do is just take action, take a big action. And often it's taking a big action and taking a big risk that really pays off. I took a really big risk. I'm not going to lie to you guys, I had a very cushy job scenario, had a great salary, was guaranteed, an amazing company to work for, the benefits were amazing, the Range Rover, hello. If that was enough of a pull to stay, I don't know what would have been. But I said, I can do better than this. And as a result, I have done, and I will continue to do. That's my message to you today. There will probably be more videos to follow from this, and I would welcome any questions that you guys have. If you just comment down below and let me know what you want to know more about, then please do. Towards the end of this week, I think I'm going to do a giveaway, just because I've never done one on my channel before and it's well overdue. There's nearly 23,000 of us here. So what I'm going to do towards the end of the week is I'm going to be giving away 5 copies of my paperback Law of Attraction book. If you want to enter that giveaway, I will put the details in the description box below, but a little clue to what those are going to be. What you want to be doing is you want to be subscribed to me on YouTube, you want to be following me on Twitter, Instagram and my Facebook page, all will be linked down below, and basically all you need to do is comment on this video or any video I post in Law of Attraction week, essentially. So do that and you stand a chance to win a copy of my paperback. I'm going to give away 5, as I have never done a giveaway before, so it's about time to pay it forward. And I will be announcing the winners of that giveaway in Sunday's video. So I have a video coming on Thursday, and then you guys will be able to either comment on this video, comment on Thursday's video, and then in Sunday's video, or you can comment on last Sunday's video, and then in this coming Sunday's video I will basically announce the winners, the 5 winners. I'm going to do global, so it doesn't matter from what part of the world you're from. And yeah, that's basically my Law of Attraction video for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Do be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the rest of the videos in Law of Attraction week. I've linked my ebook and my favourite Law of Attraction book in the description box below. Do be sure to come follow me on my social media channels, subscribe, turn on the notifications button, do all those good things, but by all means I will keep you posted along this new journey for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in Thursday's video. Bye!